Good evening, ladies. How's everybody doing? Good, good, good. Hey, housemate. Hey, Tom. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Everybody, my name is Crescence Campbell, LPC, psychotherapist. I am a mom, wife. As my daughter told her teacher yesterday, my mom's a boss, so apparently I'm a boss too. Something else we can add to it. I want to speak with everybody tonight about self-care, mental wellness, and I want us to really talk about self-care from a deeper level, right? Not a superficial level, because we'll talk about self-care, manis, petties, getting our hair done. Everybody looks good tonight, right? But self-care goes a little bit deeper. I want us to define the word self-care, right? So it's two words, self. If you know who you are, you can take care of yourself, right? I was gonna do an icebreaker, but somebody took my icebreaker, so I'm not gonna do it now. But to follow up with my icebreaker, I have a few questions for everybody. How was the icebreaker? Was it difficult? Was it hard? Was it easy? If it was easy, why was it easy? If it was hard, why was it hard? We have a hard time talking about ourselves sometimes, and there's different reasons why. We have a hard time sometimes just admitting what our flaws are. That's just who we are, right? But my more specific questions to you are, if you defined who you were when you introduced yourself to the person next to you, did you define yourself according to your achievements? If you did so, my question to you, sis, is do your achievements define who you are, or do your lack of achievements define who you are? If you defined yourself in relation to other people, are you a people pleaser? Do you set boundaries? Do you struggle to set boundaries? I got a better question. How many people describe themselves talking about the qualities that they had that they didn't like? Did anybody do that? No. Because it's hard to talk about what we don't like about ourselves. It's hard to talk about the hard part of self-care. It's hard to be vulnerable for a lot of different reasons. But if we're not realistic with ourselves and talk about self-care and talk about ourselves, the good, bad, and the ugly from a holistic standpoint, we can't heal from a holistic standpoint. Hence why we are all up here to talk about wellness from a different area. So if you know who you are, it makes self-care a little bit easier, right? But if we want to have optimal self-care, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in our self-care, right? So if you have a goal of maybe losing weight, one way to do it is go to the gym. You go to the gym, you hit them squats, you hit them lunges, booty's starting to grow, you get home, the next day, what happens? That booty hurt. You sore. You can't walk up the steps. That's a growing pain, right? Your body knows you're growing. We just talked about, me and these ladies over here talked about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. You can't improve your self-care unless you get uncomfortable. Now, the second word is care. If you care for something, you what? You value it. If I don't value myself, how am I gonna take care of myself? If I don't know myself from a holistic standpoint, I'm not gonna be able to take care of myself. In my book called Balance, we talk about two things that impede self-care. It's two words, shame and guilt. Shame and guilt is something that a researcher by the name of Brené Brown, if anybody's heard of her, talks about, right? And in her TED Talk, she defines shame and guilt. Shame is talking about who you are as a person, and guilt talks about the behavior. So if a mistake happened in your life, a shame statement would be, I'm a bad person. I'm a mistake, right? A guilt statement is the behavior. I made a mistake. So bring it full circle to self-care. If you use a shame statement talking about self-care, I'm a bad person for having self-care. I'm a bad person for taking time for myself. How dare I take time for myself? I don't deserve it. If we talk about self-care from a guilty standpoint, we're gonna say, self-care is too expensive, right? I can't do self-care because I can't afford it. These two things are gonna stop your progression. You have to understand the root of it. Who taught you that you can't have self-care? Who taught you you should be ashamed? Whose voice is that? Define whose voice that is. Because if you don't, you can't get anywhere, right? And I'm trying to kind of speed up. I don't want to take too much of our time, right? But take my time. I'll be here all night if I take my time. if I keep going, I'm gonna be here all night. So shame and guilt. We have to examine shame and guilt and where that comes from. So how do you may say, Crescence, well, okay, I have shame, I have guilt, now what? One of the things you can do to address shame and guilt is use what's called the spoon theory. Has anybody heard of the spoon theory? Okay. So the spoon theory, there's a woman, I don't remember her name, don't quote me, but basically she created the spoon theory as a realistic visual representation to help people with chronic illnesses understand how much energy they put out each day just to complete simple tasks. So each spoon gets a certain, activity throughout your day gets a certain amount of spoons. So for the sake of spoons and resources, we all have how many fingers? We all have 10 fingers. So if everybody can put 10 fingers up, 10 fingers. I want you to think about your day today. Each time I say an activity, I'm going to tell you how many fingers to put down, okay? You woke up this morning, that's 1 finger, put it down. You got dressed this morning, that's 2 fingers. You drove here, that is 3 fingers. Maybe you took care of somebody, whether it was an elder, a child, whatever, what have you. Put down another 3 fingers. We still have to drive home. Put down another 2 fingers. You have to get dressed when you go home, whether you undress, take the makeup off, take whatever off, get in the bed, that's another 2 fingers. Who has fingers left? Congratulations. Congratulations. The majority of us don't have any fingers left, right? And when you get home and get in the bed, you may still have things to do. So what happens, right? You can't just say, I'm done and not take care of those responsibilities. What we do is we borrow against the next day, right? So I don't have any more fingers left, but I'm going to keep doing what I got to do, and I'm going to take a nap tomorrow to make up for what I lost today, right? But the secret is we can't catch up on sleep. So we try to catch up the next day. We try to borrow against the next day. And when you keep borrowing against something and you don't have it, what do you go into? You go into debt. We go into spoon debt. That leads to burnout, anxiety, depression, anger, all of the things that I see in my practice that I deal with people. So if we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, that's also going to cause spoon death, right? If you have 1 finger left and your girlfriend calls you, but you laying in the bed and you really got to go to sleep and you're really tired, you got 2 choices. You have 1 spoon. Either you're going to answer that call and deal with the consequence of being tired the next day and go into spoon debt, or you're going to put yourself first and say, I'll talk to her tomorrow, I'm going to go to sleep. It's up to you to make that choice to make sure you protect yourself for optimal mental wellness, all around self-care, and just general happiness. So when we go into spoon debt, that's something that carries with us. We carry it, we carry it, we carry it. A way to address that spoon debt is to set boundaries. Girlfriend called me, I want to go to bed, but I want to talk to her. The boundary can be, I'm going to go to sleep and talk to her tomorrow, or it can be, I have no boundary and I'm available to that friend at any time. She always has me. And then you pissed off because you burnt out because she's calling you every night at 12 o'clock and you don't understand why. Because what? You taught her that it's okay. We teach people how to treat us. So if you call me dumb and you like, I need $50 and I answer every time and give you $50, what you gonna do? You gonna keep calling me. And then if I have attitude, what's wrong with you? You always calling me. Well, when was it a problem? It was a problem when I didn't set that boundary. It was a problem when I set that boundary and I didn't stick to it, because if you don't stick to your boundary, it's a threat. There has to be a consequence for boundary violation to protect your self-care and mental wellness, right? But here's the other thing. We sometimes set a boundary for other people and it's an unrealistic boundary, right? Well, I told them don't do it and they didn't do it. They violated my boundary. So how did you change the boundary and take control over your own behavior? Did you say no? Because at the end of the day, who's in control? You are in control. Nobody else is in control. So just to kind of speed it up and wrap it up, because I don't want to take too much of our time, I want you to take away a few things. I want you to make sure that, one, you know who you are so you can honor your self-care. Self-care, self-care. If you don't know who you are, why would you take care of yourself? If you give me a car and I don't take care of it, that means I don't value it, right? If you give me a precious piece of jewelry and I don't know how precious it is and the value to it, I'm going to throw it to the side. And then you're going to get mad. Why you throw it to the side? Oh, it's just a piece of jewelry from Target. No, it's valuable. Oh. And by the time you realize it's valuable, it might be tarnished because you didn't take care of it. So know who you are holistically. The good, the bad, the ugly, right? I don't like the fact that I gained 25 pounds. Okay, accept it, acknowledge it. What you gonna do about it now? Don't sit and wallow in it, fix it. So know who you are holistically. 2, understand where your shame and guilt come from. Whose voice is speaking to you? Who in your life is supporting that shame and guilt? Them supporting that shame and guilt, what do they get from that? How do they benefit from that? Know who you are, understand where your shame and guilt comes from. 3, protect your spoons. Stop giving all your spoons away. Stop giving all your fingers away. Because then you mad when nobody else has spoons to give you. Oh, they always calling me. I'm always taking somebody somewhere. Stop doing it. My clients, oh, I'm tired, Crescent, I'm burnt out. Well, what you do? I did this, I did that, and I sit there and look at them and say, yep. What I'm supposed to do? Say no. Don't answer the phone. Well, he keep calling me. Well, why you keep answering, sis? You know he toxic. If you just want a sneaky link, then just let him be a sneaky link. Right? If you just want to have fun, just have fun. But don't get mad when he keep calling you for the fun and you want something different. Because you taught him all you want is fun. We teach people how to treat us. So 1, know who you are holistically. 2, understand where your shame and guilt comes from. 3, protect your spoons. 4, set boundaries. If you don't set your boundaries, you have nothing and you allow yourself to become burnt out, struggle with mental wellness, physical wellness, you go into financial debt, you go into spoon debt, and that's your own problem to pull yourself out of it. So to wrap it up, I just want to do a quick activity. I know some people are still eating, but if I can get a minute, if you can stand up, just really quick. Go ahead and close your eyes for me. Take right hand to left hip. I want you to take left hand to right hip. Hug yourself tight. Any shame and guilt that you have, I want you to hug yourself to rid that, right? Calm down any shame and guilt that you have, any anxiety you have when you think about your self-care and your mental wellness. It is okay to have self-care. Self-care is not selfish. Repeat after me. I am capable. I am worthy. I deserve to protect myself. Because I am a beautiful soul. DJ, drop that beat real quick. Sing with me, hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell yourself, ladies, if you don't encourage yourself, nobody else will. Sing in the mirror, talk to yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with it, talk to yourself. Tell yourself, beautiful, I just want you to know you're my favorite girl. Be your own favorite girl. Say it, ladies. What are you? Who are you? Your favorite girl.